Hello everybody, this is Yoko's Anime Reactions, and this is going to be my review for Magi the Labyrinth of Magic, episodes 3 and 4. Aladdin and Alibaba ended up making their way to where they had to go for, the main part of the dungeon. Because apparently that wasn't it. Oh, sorry, I was looking at, something. Anyway. They get there, they head inside, and there's all sorts of things in there. However, somehow the stupid Lord managed to catch up with them. Somehow. Someone want to tell me how? Because the only way they were able to get to that little area was through Aladdin's magic turban thingy. Flying on that turban thingy. So how on earth did they get all the way over there when, as far as we know, the Lord and his two slaves didn't have any such amenities? Anybody want to let me know why? How? Anyway, the big slave guy is barely hanging on at this point. I actually thought he was dead at first. Everybody else did, actually. And Aladdin's knocked out, and Alibaba has to deal with the Lord. Now this guy is going on and on about how a commoner shouldn't be able to outwit me, blah 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 blah. And Alibaba's not freaking out or anything. He's calm. He's focused. And as he's dodging this guy's attacks with his sword, I'm thinking this guy was either a prince that got disowned or ran away from some kind of mistake he made, or both. Like, he got disowned for a mistake he made. And that's why he's out here, because he apparently has royal swordsmanship training. Unlike this guy. Well, technically, I'm guessing he got more training than this guy, because he's able to easily outmaneuver this guy. And Magurna, I think is what her name was. Let me know if I'm saying it wrong. I just watched the episode today. Oh my god. Anyway, she still goes and defends this guy and attacks Alibaba, even though Alibaba has a point. Nobody knows that, besides them here, that they're even in there. If they manage to get out, and this guy doesn't, everybody will easily assume that all three of them, plus the people that already died in that dungeon. So she could be a free slave as long as she stays out of the city, obviously, because anybody in the city will more than likely recognize her, especially anybody that worked with the Lord. So, yeah, I don't know why she still works with this guy, considering how he mistreated and abused her the entire time they were there. I don't get it. Thankfully, Aladdin wakes up at this point and is able to easily overpower her and get her out of the way so she can't attack them. And essentially proves that he is indeed a Magi. Though obviously Aladdin has no clue of his past or how he ended up in that room he was in that ended up getting him Ugo. We don't know. Maybe we'll find out at the end of the season. Anyway, he tries to get Aladdin to pick him as king, and I'm like, dude, with the way you've treated him and Alibaba and that slave girl, you were the last person he would choose as king, even if he knew what you were talking about. So, yeah, essentially that is exactly what Aladdin does. He does not pick him. He essentially tells him, yeah, I'm not picking you. You're not a very nice person. And the Jinn, that's the master of this dungeon, finally shows up and talks with Ugo. Somehow he's able to talk with no head coming out, and apparently he does have a head. It's just stuck inside the flute. How? Why? Why is only his head not coming out? How is everything else coming out but not the head? It makes no sense. Anyway, they end up talking and we don't fit to find out what the heck they're talking about. And the guy explains to Aladdin what a Magi is and, what they do and everything, and that he is more than likely a Magi. And we find out that somebody is trying to essentially destroy the dungeon to keep it from being captured, and the Jinn gives them a way out. The two of them, him and Aladdin and Alibaba, after he had grabbed like 3 big bags of treasure, get on the thing, and they try and get the girl to come with them, but she kind of starts to turn towards the Lord. I don't know if she's planning on grabbing him and taking him with them. But the big guy, who we all thought was dead, stops her, and he grabs the Lord and starts walking away from the lift, more than likely planning on getting them both killed in the process, I guess as punishment for everything that the Lord did to everybody, and gets the girl on the lift. So the 3 of them get the heck out of there, and we see whoever was responsible for trying to destroy the dungeon, but we don't really get to find out who they are, why they're doing this, or if the good guys are bad. Thankfully, they managed to get out, but they end up getting separated. She ends up out in the outskirts of the city. Alibaba, ends up where the dungeon used to be, where everybody else is waiting. And Aladdin ends up like near across, like on the other side of the world, essentially. And thankfully he gets found by a nice tribe. And don't know what the heck, still don't know what Alibaba is or who he is or anything, but at least he did something good with that treasure. He freed all the slaves, which I am happy about. And now the guy who he was having to kiss up to is now having to kiss up to him, which I think is funny. Anyway, we get to see what Aladdin's up to. And apparently, we find out what those little butterflies or birds or whatever are, and what they're connected to, and everything. And I've actually kind of spoiled myself on what that is, where essentially, it's like heaven. And if your soul gets corrupted or anything, you end up going to, dang it, what was it called? Something darkness? Essentially hell. And you eventually end up getting reincarnated because we find out that in the last episode that Aladdin is actually the reincarnation of Solomon. Is that supposed to be like a Christianity thing? But he is obviously still a Magi, and he ends up becoming friendly with the tribe that helped him out. And we actually find out that the one who founded that tribe, the kingdom, is actually a Magi, or possibly a Magi that had conquered a dungeon at some point. Because he had like magic like powers. I'm like, you more than likely conquered a dungeon, because that's usually what happens when you get a djinn. And speaking of djinns, the djinn that was in the dungeon they captured ends up going to Alibaba on the hilt of the sheath of his blade, essentially. But he doesn't realize, I don't think he realizes this. Anyway, another kingdom shows up, and the general tries to get them to peacefully, become part, she wants to unify all the tribes and countries and everything into one, but her bodyguard is an asshole. Essentially trying to force the issue when obviously that isn't what she wants, essentially. And later on, I'm guessing he's the one who orchestrated all the women to be captured and essentially forced into breeding non-stop, so they have a steady supply of money coming in. Essentially, they're slave traders, essentially. All the men go to rescue the girls, while Aladdin comes back after talking with the Lady General, essentially asking her to please not kill anybody, and she promises to. And it seems as though she's telling the truth, so Aladdin believes her. Thankfully, they manage to get the girls back without killing anybody, because they know if they kill somebody, it's a declaration of war. while everybody is out celebrating, she goes and the shaman lady, Baba, whatever you want to call her, she goes out and is thinking, and while she's out there on her own, she gets hit with an arrow right in the back. So I don't know if she's alive, dead, on the verge of death. We will find out in the next episode, but that's where the episode ends. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.